Hey there, folks. Chris Waters here. Welcome back to the GameSpot stage at E3 2014. We've been seeing a bunch of Vita games on the stage now, and from the moody atmosphere of Murasaki Baby to the four-player co-op giant takedown action of Freedom Wars, it's run the gamut, and that gamut is about to get longer with BigFest. On this couch joining me is Lee from Sony Europe, here to talk about a music-themed game for the Vita, but it's not really like any music-themed game we've heard of before, Lee.
No, I mean, the thing that's really sort of unique about BigFest, before I sort of give you the background, is this idea, this notion that real artists can get inside the game. So I'll give you sort of a quick background of the game. BigFest, you create, build, and manage the ultimate music festival. And you start off in a small field with 20 guests, slow clapping all the way up to global, multi-day mega festivals, with international headline acts, the whole shebang. And yeah, the premise is that you start out with in a field with Dave as your like roadie.
You gotta have a roadie if you're throwing a music festival.
Absolutely, and Dave will take you through like how you actually build your festival. So from the very beginning, you're taught basic navigation, and then you're given your first poster. The way that the game presents levels is actually via posters. So different posters have different objectives. We have two types of poster. One of them is like used for just playing the kind of music that you want. And then we also have special posters that are bespoke, and they're like story mode. So we can kind of do whatever we want within those. And as a free-to-play game, obviously the world's our oyster as far as what we do in those levels.
So in terms of the player experience, sort of hopping in, there's basically sort of there's a constructing, a building, a planning out nature that's sort of core to this game. You want to create the fairgrounds, sort of. Do you manage like flow, like choose where to put the food, where to put the camping areas,
Absolutely.
all that stuff?
Absolutely. So yeah, initially when you first start out, you don't have any cash, or you have very limited cash. And as people come in the door, they start complaining almost immediately. They say, they're hungry, and then we'll need to put some hot dog stalls down maybe, and then people are upset because the music isn't there. So it's very immediate. I mean, you start placing down objects almost instantly, and yeah, as soon as so visitors starting to show up. So here's one now, and we tap on them and they'll say, hey, look, this is getting pretty busy.
Where are the bands?
So this is the bands, right? This is the music menu. This is where it's the really strong aspect of the game. Everyone wants to get their sort of tracks in the game. That's what we want. We want to allow people to put their own music in the game.
And so that band, I mean, those are real musicians in a real band?
This is the really important thing to get across. This is actual bands that want to get a break. And, this is a perfect vehicle. It's like, hey, we could actually get our music out in the global, community, and they can hear it. People can play the game and actually play the music within the game and vote and rate. So, yeah, it's a massive, strong aspect to the game.
Very cool. And now this is, the way sort of music has come into games like this has predominantly been, I guess, sort of a matter of you guys sort of, or the developer reaching out and saying, we want these band songs in our games. We want sort of recognizable stuff that people know to come into our game. But you guys are sort of twisting that around because these are bands that, aren't signed or people don't necessarily know about them.
Yeah.
And it's like a vehicle for exposure for them?
Absolutely. I mean, initially when we started out, it was like we'd really like to have commercial music. I mean, I think it's a free-to-play game, so some of that stuff's off limits, just budgetary-wise, and so we started looking at, maybe we could build a game where it's actually about the people, about real bands. So as you build a festival, when you put your stage down, you're actually putting real acts on, and you start to care more about the game because these are real people. And the interesting thing is that when you actually play these tracks,
hold on a second. What is going on here?
Off a bit crazy.
Something's gone horribly wrong.
What's happened there is, this is we also have this aspect, the social aspect, where you go and visit your friends, and you can go and build your own festival and visit your friends, and you can have the competitive or cooperative. So in this instance, somebody just blew up the video screen and electrocuted a bunch of festival goers, right? But
That is sinister, man.
That's kind of being a bit mean, but you don't have to go that way. You could be, if you want to be a nice guy, you can do that too. Yeah, we just want to give you all of these different options and make it sort of, a little bit more of a twist on a social game, right? So in this example now, at this point, we've now unlocked the music chart. So as I said earlier, when you actually play the bands on the stage, you're actually rating them. So if I say that this band is going in my headline slot within the poster, you're actually saying these are a really good band. And that actually, those scores are aggregated and it creates an actual music chart. So we're actually reflecting the community's likes of the music. And if tracks aren't played, they'll fall out of the chart. And tracks that are great will go to the top. So they are, genuinely getting real exposure.
And is there, sort of, does that translate, I'm playing BigFest, there are songs that I like, there's songs that I discover. You said there's a mode where you can just listen to the music from the game.
That's right.
Is there then the link to I want to download this song to my, to my MP3 player, to my phone, to my
There's absolutely
wherever.
no, I mean, the deal that we have with Jamendo, you can see the logo up there, allows us, access to that, to the catalog. So, we have access to 2,200 tracks across Europe. And yes, you can pull down those tracks locally if you want to play them locally. It's going to be really exciting.
Very cool. When you're creating a music festival, are you sort of, these challenges you were talking about, the posters, is it throw the most thrashing death metal music festival possible, or get a certain amount of fans to come to your music festival?
We have various different sort of tasks within the festival. One might be a bunch of bikers come and gate crash, and you need to evict them, or we have a bunch of crazy clowns, like the clown posse will come in, and you need to address those. There's lots of different specific tasks. Guys climbing the fence, fights, mosh pits, all of the stuff you would expect to see in a really crazy busy festival.
All of the stuff?
Well, maybe not some of it, right? We're at 12, so we need to be a little bit careful. But you get the idea, we want to kind of touch upon the culture of festival goers without being too edgy.
Without going full Woodstock, maybe.
Precisely.
I love this Big Dave roadie icon, by the way.
Yeah, it's like the Big Dave is to us like the kind, I don't know if you know Lemmy of Motorhead in the 70s. He's kind of got that whole, the cowboy hat,
by that guy.
Bit of a gruff Cockney guy. Yeah.
Are you, this is on the Vita, are you using touchscreens to sort of control this?
It's
or
all
are you
completely
using sticks as well?
No, it's touchscreen and stick. So we use a dual analogs for the camera, so you pan around. You do full rotation of the festival, but also touchscreen. So all of these side panels, at the left is a social menu, to the right is your music menu, and at the bottom is the create panel where you build your different objects within the scene.
Now, we've sort of talked about the social stuff a little bit, pranking a friend's festival or helping them out somehow. Is that sort of the extent of the sharing, or can you, I believe you can go attend someone else's festival that they've, and sort of sit through their music selection that's been curated for you, right?
That's right. I mean, you're effectively building a festival using the music that you like. You're also dressing stylistically the festival using, your own art. So if you're into reggae, you might have a really reggae-themed art festival. It's entirely up to you. If you're into death metal, you might have a really dark festival with no lights. And it's all completely themed to make it really tailored to people's tastes.
There we see the dumpsters and porta potty section that, while not glamorous, definitely essential to the proper functioning of any festival.
I tell you what would a festival be without toilets, dude? You need to get that stuff sorted out, right?
How many festivals did you expense to the old studio in the development of this game?
Seriously, my boss is sitting just off camera here, right? I've not actually done that yet. I think I'd like to, but we're a freemium game, so we're trying to keep costs down. I think his answer to me would be, very well what a festival is. So
yeah, Lee.
I might try it though. We'll see.
It's worth a shot, at least. Well, it's free to play, but let's talk about folks who either want a little bit more out of it, want to support you guys by spending a little money on the game.
Sure.
What kind of options do you have there for that?
So currently, the way that we're monetizing it is we have a boost system, right? So it's basically, and we don't want this to be some cynical cash grab where we're just constantly mithering you for money, because this was always about making a great game, genuinely. Sony came into the free-to-play space to experiment, but absolutely to try and do it better. We don't want to be tarred with the same brush as some of the, less, Facebook titles without getting into the specifics.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, we wanted to try and do this better. And the idea with this is that we have this sort of section of boosts, and you use them to advance your time. So everything within the game you can just grind if you want, right? There will be points within the game where you might have to grind some time to get what you need, and you will pay for.
You can pay to sort of circumvent that time, but it's still
right.
stuff that you can achieve or acquire in game.
There's nothing within the game that you can't grind for. We want to be really sort of clear about that, so everyone can have everything in the game if they put the effort in. But we don't want it to be something where you're sort of playing it for years and years and not getting what you need out of the game. We want to balance it and make it fair.
Well, all right. Now, the other side of this, right? That's not the player side, I guess. The band side. Let's say there are tons of bands out there who are dying to get some exposure.
Totally.
How do they get their stuff into the game? How do they, upload their music, their art, their
Sure.
band glamour shots?
Sure. We're currently working on the specifics, but we have a landing page on the Jamendo website.
Okay.
Or we're going to have a landing page. If it's not there, it'll be on our site. The idea is you upload your track for inclusion, and then there'll be sort of a process of evaluation. You add your band art, and you put your bio in, and it's in the game. And we want to make that sort of route into the game really quick and really convenient for people. But the idea is that the more music in the game, the more that it's about people, the better.
Yeah, and I mean, especially when, the more music that's in there, just the more enriched the experience is, the more likelihood that someone's going to find some music they legitimately enjoy.
Totally that. And this is the thing that we find quite interesting is when we've been playing it, when we put it into QA, there are actually, there are tracks in there that I now genuinely really like. I mean, actually like them. So there is that. You are actually discovering music, and there's something very compelling about that idea. I won't want to go out on a limb and say the gamification of music, because that might be a little bit of a stretch too far. Well, certainly that's kind of our thinking. We think, why not? Instead of listening to music passively, you play a game with music in.
You're playing, and a lot of people play games and put on their own music tracks, and so having a diversity of discoverable music there strikes me as a really neat way, not just a neat game design challenge, but also a way to engage with the music scene and with artists and bands and musicians that has not really been done in this way before.
Totally. And this is only day one, right? So day one, we'll allow people to get into the game. Beyond that, who knows? If this takes off, people are really interested in it, and we see a lot of people using it, we've got lots of things on the horizon for bands specifically. There may be deals we could do with marketing to get them competitions and all of that stuff. So it's all really exciting.
Sounds pretty ambitious, Lee. I'm excited to see where you guys go with it.
We've got to try.
Absolutely. That's BigFest coming to the PlayStation Vita.
We're looking around Christmas time.
Around Christmas time?
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck to you guys in the continued development.
Thanks very much, Chris. Cheers.
Thanks for coming on the stage and showing it off.